Welcome back to the Hunting Grounds. Today, primarily what we're going to be focusing on is our food plots, how they've been growing, what we've been doing to them, and where we expect them to be over the next few weeks. So here we are in food plot number 1. Now this food plot is our clover chicory food plot, and it's actually been doing really great lately. We've got a lot of rain, and it's really shot up. I mean, the average height on our clover right now is probably a good 6 inches or so, and you can tell in our utilization cage that it's about 2 inches above the average size of the food plot. So the deer are hitting on it some, even though we've not seen them in here a lot. They're probably coming in here at night or some other time. But this food plot is actually doing great. We did add some antler dirt to it because our first food plot did not need all of that, since we had one section of it that we decided to have controlled. And we put them in here, and since we put that antler dirt in here, it was almost like about a week or two after it just really started to shoot up. And so this food plot has actually been doing great. As you can see, there are a few broadleaf and some grasses in here that are trying to invade, and we've come through here with the herbicides and sprayed them, and so they're actually starting to dwindle out a little bit. And some of the places on this food plot that we've planted has really been coming in thick. So some of the edges that were kind of getting overtaken by some weeds, when we went back through and planted them back with clover, they're actually coming in really great now, and we've sprayed herbicides on them to help eliminate the competition growing in there. Now, you wouldn't believe it, but in this area of this food plot, I was actually having a little bit of trouble with the invasive weeds. I went in with my herbicides for my broadleaf and for my grasses, and it just wasn't doing the job in this area. So some of these weeds got tall, and they got taller than the clover, and they matured. And so what I did in this section of the food plot, since we do have a small food plot, went in, I knocked the tops off with a weed eater. Didn't harm the clover, just all the tops of the weeds, and came back in and sprayed it again. And now the clover is actually getting a little jump start on the weeds, and so they're actually kind of thinning them out in this area. But that's one thing you want to make sure of, is that you don't try to spray the weeds once they are mature. You want to hit them at that young age, and so you can thin them out before they're any kind of competition. Now, does this area look familiar to you? It probably wasn't about a month ago that this was just bare and it looked kind of dead and nasty. We had just finishing up cutting all the trees out of that time and piling some of the brush and finishing up burning some of that. After that, we went in with fescue and planted it, and now just look at it. You know, the sun's coming in through the trees, and it's hitting this ground floor, and it's promoting all this great vegetation, all this undergrowth. And there's actually been a lot of deer in here, and this is also great habitat for turkey, and so it is doing phenomenal right now. Now, this food plot is my #1 fan right now, and if it had a Facebook page, I'd be clicking friends, but that's not the case. But I love what this food plot is doing. This food plot is growing like nobody's business. As you know, we came in, we disked the top portion of the soil, came through, we added the antler dirt, and then we disked it again and sat it back in the soil to kind of help it dissolve a little bit quicker and kind of put it on reserve. Came in, planted our soybeans, and during that time we were hitting our 80-degree weeks, and it was doing great, and it just started sprouting like crazy. Now we've got all this rain, and now our soybeans are up to, I would say, some of them already up to 8 inches. And as you can see, the deer are already in this food plot, coming to the mineral licks, and they're starting to hit on all of my soybeans, which I'm kind of scared about. I don't want them to eat them all before they get too big. But this food plot is doing great. Like I said, we came in, we disked the top portion of the soil, and I'd actually prefer you not to do that if you could get away from that. But that's the only thing we had to work with on this property. But if you have some kind of no-till solution that you can come in and plant your seeds without tilling up the soil, that's going to help you not flip over big rocks and put more rocks at the surface. It's going to help prevent erosion, and it's going to keep your moisture in the ground. But that's the only thing we had to work with here, so we just made sure we just did the top portion of the soil. It seems like I can't say enough about Antler Dirt, but the guys at Antler Dirt also produce an organic fertilizer that you can put on your flower gardens or some trees or shrubs, and it's going to help them just like it's helped in our food plots. Now, we've put it on our garden here, and our corn, our watermelons, our radishes, our cucumbers, our tomatoes, everything is doing great. Now, being the way I am, I did do a controlled area again. So we have one portion of our garden that we did not put in the fertilizer down, so we can compare. And we're going to keep you guys up to date through the summer to show you the comparison between the two sides of how much some of these Antler Dirt products really do help. Now if you remember back to the fall, this area I was just starting to clear out and I was doing a select cut on the trees. I was leaving the mulberries, the oaks, the hickories, the walnuts, any fruit-bearing trees so they would produce and feed the wildlife in this area. Now I wanted a natural kind of habitat for the wildlife here, and so I also wanted to make sure that this area didn't erode when I had cleared it all out. And so I came in with fescue and winter wheat and planted it, and it's grown up a ton. As you can see, you know, some of the winter wheat is up to about chest high. The fescue is starting to grow in underneath that now, and some of it's actually getting pretty tall too. But you might be going, why are you letting it get so tall? Why not brush hog it and make it beautiful? Now the reason we've left this area tall is because here in a week or so the does will probably be giving birth to fawns, and we wanted an area that the deer felt safe, some kind of deer sanctuary where they knew that they could come in, lay their fawns, and they could be gone for their 3 or 4 hours at a time to go eat or to go take a nap, and to come back and know that their fawn's going to be safe and that they feel safe in this area. Now sometimes, inadvertently, while you're making habitat for deer or turkey, you make habitat for some kind of species that you really don't desire to be around that area. And such is a story of a fox. Now we had a fox who decided to den up on the south side, and she had about 4 kids with her, and she found this area to be a perfect ambush area for our poultry because we have ducks and we have chickens, and this area of tall grass goes within about 80 yards of our house, and decided it was perfect. So what we did is we just came in, we brush hogged out the area and just made that barrier there a little bit further, and so it wasn't a great ambush area for it anymore, and we've not had any problems since. But I was able to get some awesome video footage of some of the young foxes, and here's a little bit of that. So that's it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and don't forget to tell your friends and family about it, and ask them to pass on the link as well. Now, tune in next week, and as always, have a better than average day.
What is with all these flies today?
Road. So I came in with some quick, whoop. Ask your friends and family, get to tell your friends there was seriously something flying.